Hello, you catch me mid-farkle on a pleasant Friday afternoon. And instead of being out riding the bike, I've decided to do a fork oil change and upgrade the front suspension, which is infinitely preferable to servicing a lawnmower, which is what I was supposed to be doing this afternoon, but I'll come up with some excuse. What I was due, or the bike was overdue, a fork oil change. The manual says it should be done every 2 years. To be frank, I'm appalling. It's the one aspect of maintenance that I am sloppy about, and I generally only change it every 5 years. And I decided to take the opportunity this time and to fit something called a Ricor Intiminator, which essentially is designed to improve the responsiveness of the suspension, cornering, rough roads, eliminate brake dive, or at least reduce it. I've read a lot of reviews of these over the last 8 years. Some people think they're the best things to slice bread. Other people say, well, not impressed with its ability or their ability to control brake dive. I don't know. I thought I'd give it a go. So we've got that. Now, originally I was going to fit it to the original spring. This is the stock spring, which you can see is progressive, tight coils at the top. But then I realised that it would A, extend the length of the spring, which meant that I'd have to cut the spacer down in all probability. And B, a lot of the reviews I read were people who felt they got the best results by replacing their stock springs with an upgraded model. This is a Hagon progressive spring, and these are more tightly wound here at the top. Apparently this gives you a softer compression towards the base, and then it stiffens up considerably more than the stock is under heavy braking. So when you add that to that, you actually end up with a spring that's the same length as the original. So I can keep the original spacer, I'm going to keep the original air gap, and we'll see how we go. It's not a complicated job if, like me, the sort of person who approaches the DIY jobs with a degree of trepidation. The key is, well, YouTube's a godsend, frankly. There are so many videos out there. Obviously, Derek in his garage, Delboy's Garage, is a mine of useful information, but there are all sorts of people out there. In fact, I even saw a video a day or two ago from a guy called Stuart Fillingham, who's got a modern one of them, who was putting in a set of Hagon fork springs. So that, again, useful just to confirm what you already understood. I also always prepare a checklist. You know, an idiot's guide, basically. Always has to fit on one A4 side, and it's just essentially a series of check boxes. This is the removal side, this is the replacement side, these are the notes around any fitting issues. And so far, with one exception, it's gone like a dream. The only thing that was problematical was removing the axle nut from the front wheel. The last time the wheel was off was to have a new set of tyres put on. And after I had struggled with a heat gun, an impact driver, and nearly an hour had gone by with absolutely no movement in that nut at all, I decided it was time to resort to the oldest tool in my toolbox. In fact, it's as old as these overalls. The lump hammer. So no damage to the nut at all, as I didn't think there would be, and it came off. And so the rest of the job so far is going like a dream. I'm just waiting for the second fork to finish draining the last vestiges of the old oil. I'm fitting new gaitors. I decided I like the look of gaitors, and again it's something else I'd meant to fit for a time. These are Triumph gaitors, they're from the Bonneville range. Bonnevilles have 41mm diameter forks as opposed to the 43mm diameter forks on the Thunderbird or the classic triples, but these fit beautifully. So that's all done. That one just remains for me to do that side, and when it's all buttoned up, we'll have a look at the end result. So at this stage, both forks are done. Both are fitted with their new gaiters. But before I put the wheel back on, I've got to address the fact that this mudguard, which is the original, had a mudguard extender fitted at my request on its first service back in, I don't know, 2003. And the dealers use rivets, which is the approved way of doing it, but over time the holes made for the rivets have started to rust, and I've got bubbling under the surface of the paint, and every time I see that it really annoys me. So I decided it was time to replace this. I'll have this filled and resprayed and take the extender off. So I've got a new one over here, to which I've appended a new mudguard extender using epoxy glue. So that's just waiting to go off. I mean, it's gone off, but I like to leave it for 36 hours or so. Once that's done, wheel back on. I mentioned that I used a lump hammer to remove this little thing. But there we are, I'll show it to you to prove that no fasteners were harmed in the making of this video. Doing this job, let me just put in a little plug for ABBA. I've had that ABBA stand since around about 2004, and with it this front lift. They don't make that variety of front lift any longer, and in fairness they don't make the variety of stand any longer. It looks just like the current models, except that it's slightly larger because it was designed to hold up a heavier bike. I don't know, the average sports bike I guess is going to be pushing 200 kilograms, but this dry weight 220 kilograms. Once you add all the fluids you're pushing it up to 240, and once you add various bits and pieces like a centre stand and luggage racks and engine guards, you're well over 250 kilos, and those two items support that bike. Normally I don't have the front lift in place, but the stand supports that bike every winter and has been doing so for well over a decade now, nearly a decade and a half. Wonderful bit of kit. I've just added to that another bit of kit from ABBA. Let's see if we can see that. This is a wheel lift, and it's designed to be used to hold the wheel in place when you're removing it. You adjust this rear bogie wheel to get the right height, and then when you're removing the spindle from the wheel or wanting to replace the wheel, it holds the wheel at the right height so that you're not struggling as you slide the axle and the rest of the fittings home. So an excellent bit of kit that. One that I've just recently added to the stable. I've got no connection with ABBA at all, except for the fact that they are located in my hometown. And I think you should shout about local business success stories, and these guys, as far as I'm concerned, seriously are. And I think once upon a time I used to say to classic triple riders in North America, you should get yourself an ABBA stand, but they had to order them you know, from the UK, but I understand I have a North American website now, so if you're over there, these things I think are more easily got than they once were. And so here she is, the finished article, wheel back on, and I just need to take it for a test ride now, but I'll do that in the morning, I think. So there we are. If you've got this far, thanks very much for watching. Lenskapel Farkling in the garage. Till the next time, whenever that might be, take care.